Hey guys, Mary from SVG Cuts here with a brand new project for fall. And if you like fairy stuff or fall or a little bit of both, then you're gonna love it. I've been coming up with it and working on it for quite a while now. I don't even know how long, definitely over a month, maybe a lot longer. So I'm really excited that it's finally time to share with you guys. I've been posting a couple sneak peeks here and there on Instagram and Twitter, and if you've been following along, thanks for your excited comments. I hope you're super excited like I am. So I've got it sitting on this little thing that I just happen to have, which I think makes it even cuter. But of course by itself it's also super cute. So it's cool because it's not too hard to put together. The roof is pretty straightforward and these little window elements just kind of poke through. And I'll show you here in just a minute step by step exactly how that works. And then the pumpkin part itself is not too crazy to put together. The windows kind of pop through, and then this part is the most dimensional here. And then it sits on this little cute base with some steps, and this kind of just sticks out. And if you follow along here in just a moment, you'll see step by step how if you just take it one step at a time, it's before you know it, you're all done with it, and it's adorable. So I made the fence nice and easy. It just kind of folds up and has something glued on it to kind of pull it all together. So you will see all that here in just a minute, and I'll show you all the little tips and tricks that I use to make it extra special. The embossing folder that I used is, it's called Layered Scallops by Echo Park. I just looked online and I do not see this any longer online. So if you're in love with it, I'm sorry. There are definitely other embossing folders you can use that would look super cool. Really just about anything. If it's embossed or if it's patterned, you could use a patterned paper as the panels. That would also look really cute. And then inside the windows, there's little pieces of vellum, which your machine cuts out and they fit perfectly inside behind the windows, just like these two big windows and these smaller ones. And then I rubbed a brown ink pad on the edges to kind of distress it a little bit, as well as around on this border of this bark, which to emboss that I used the Distressed Stripes folder from Cottage. I think this one is still out there. Last time I looked I did see it. It's kind of like an old standby. I use it quite a bit for a lot when I want to make distressed looking siding, or when I want to make something that kind of looks like wood grain a little bit like this. That's what I did for that. Then I had some fun with the cute little embellishments that go with the patterned paper that I used. So those are from this collection from Cottage called Hello Fall. But if you've got some similar stuff already in your stash, that would work great too. There's not really very many pieces of patterned paper on here. There's just on the front of the stairs, and then these three front panels are patterned paper, as well as the green like grass that it's sitting on is actually, it's also from Cottage, but it's part of their Dots and Stripes collection. So the light that I put in here is something that I have quite a few of these. They're from Amazon. There's a couple different brands, but they all look and work identically. It's only about $7, and it comes with a little remote control. You can change the lights to be different colors, which I have right here. Let's see. I've got a few different ones. So I have two different brands of remotes. Oh, this is the one. So there's little colors on it. You can change it to be, you know, green, blue, purple, white, red, whatever little color. It can change colors too. The only thing that kind of stinks is that it does drain its batteries pretty quickly. So I like to use rechargeable batteries. I have a little charger. I charge them up, and I really only turn it on when I want to, you know, really enjoy it. If I was to leave it on all the time, I would always have dead batteries, but that's the beauty of the rechargeables, is that you can recharge them. So you could also put a string of lights inside, like some little LED lights, kind of like these little fairy lights that I have here, if you can see that. They use three AA batteries. They seem to last a little bit longer, and it does light it up pretty well. As there's a few different ones. If you check Amazon, you can find them, and it's really any kind of battery operated lights are going to be great. These use AAA, 3 AAA batteries. So the pattern paper that I used this time is from Cartabella. It's the Hello Fall collection, and super cool. I love it. I didn't get to use all of it. I also used it on some my autumn gatefold cards, which are also new for fall this year at SVG Cuts. But like I always say, whatever kind of paper you have in mind that you want to use is definitely going to look awesome. You know, whether it's from your stash or whatever. You don't have to always get the latest and greatest. I always do, because I want you to be able to get it if you fall in love with it and you like it. I want to stay on top of things like that too. But if you're anything like me, you probably have a stash including some fall paper already. So I've got all my pieces cut out to show you how this cute little guy goes together. So let's get started. So first I'm going to put together the main part of the pumpkin. We've got the base, the main part, and then the roof. These are the main parts, and then above each one I have some little things that go on each part. So your machine will have cut a number into each piece here, and you don't have to darken it in with a marker like I'm doing right now, but just so you can see exactly where the numbers are, they are like this. So 1 through 8. So we can go ahead and kind of pre-fold each of these little tabs on each piece. So your fold lines might be dashed lines. Mine are solid score lines. It just depends on your machine and your software, the capabilities that you have with those. Some machines have the ability to easily score straight lines instead of dashed lines. Or if you use the default dashed lines, that's fine too. So if you want to use the solid score lines, that's in the extras folder for each SVG file that has score lines. So this piece has quite a few little scored tabs, and some of them are going to get folded towards you instead of away from you. But for now, we'll just get them going by folding them all down. So this is where all of the little folds are. And if you happen to miss one or two, it's okay, because as you get to it during the next parts, you can just fold it. But this is how it looks now. So some of the other pieces that I have up here above piece number 1, I've got the little window parts. You can see that this panel is going to fit right on top of it. I've got this piece that goes behind it, this piece here, which we can fold up, and some little decor. We've got some flowers that are going to go on there, 3 of them. Then above piece number 2 here, I've got the little door, little decoration, and then I've got this piece, which we can go ahead and crease. As well as this little top panel piece. Then above piece number 3, I've got the same pieces that were on piece number 1, except they're a little mirror image of piece number 1. Then above number 4, I've got some more little vines, this little window box, which we can fold in half, a little piece of vellum, and then this window, which we can go ahead and crease as well. So basically it forms the front of it with all these other little tabs folded away from you. Some of them will get folded towards you in just a moment, but if you fold it like that, that's good for now. Then piece number 5 is just plain. 6 is in the back, also plain with the window. 7, plain. And then piece number 8 is the same as piece number 4, except it's just a mirror image. So we've got little window, little flower box, fold it in half, some cute little vines, and then again, same little window, just a mirror image. So it's a little bit different, but the same. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put my little centers on my flowers. And you can put whatever you want in the middle. Your flowers can be whatever color you want. I went with yellow because I think it looks like a little sunflower, kinda, especially with the dark brown center. But I don't have that many dark browns, so I'm going to do a variety of colors. And as you can see, I'm just bending the little petals forward. Makes it look even cuter. So you want to have 3 flowers on number 1, number 3, number 4, and number 8. Or if you want to change it up, of course, that's cool too. Next, I've got piece number 2 with its separate pieces here, the doorway and the panel and everything. And at this point, if you want to do a little bit of inking on this piece, I've got this little cat's eye shaped ink pad by Colorbox, which I got on Amazon I can't remember if I got it on Amazon or at the craft store itself. I've got quite the stash of little ink pads, which I use to rub around the outside of shapes like this, which I just think looks cute. So I'm just going to lightly rub it on this orange one, and we're good. So next I'm going to glue this onto here and this guy here with a little bit of glue on the back. There's a lot of choices of glue. My personal favorite happens to be this Create Tacky Glue by Scotch. It's available at craft stores or on Amazon. You can get it in person at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann, or online. And I just like it because it dries pretty quickly and it's easy to find and it doesn't wrinkle the paper up. So that goes there, and there's one more fold here. So this top part we want to fold towards us, as well as this, and these two sides. And then we can put some glue inside this tab here and fold that into place, starting to form the little doorway. As well as on the other side. And then if you want to put a little doorknob on your door, you can do that. If you have a brad that you're dying to use and you have wire cutters, you can cut the back off of it and affix it with a glue dot. Sometimes I do that. Next, I'm going to glue this inside this opening here. So I want to make sure that these are nice and sharply creased back, if they're not already. And then we can anchor the bottom into place. As well as the top. And then these two sides kind of curve forward a little bit to follow the curve of this. So we can just get inside there with a little dot of glue on each one. And if it gets a little messy, that's okay, because it's going to be hidden when your project is finished. As long as it's looking clean on the front side. And yours will probably be even more perfect, because when I film this, I have to kind of hold it pretty far away from myself. It makes it a little harder to be meticulous, but that works. And then same thing on the other side. So I'm going to bend these out of the way pretty sharply and get a nice little dot of glue on each little one. So this is probably the most complex, challenging part of this project, but the little curve that it creates I think is super cute and worth the extra effort. So it's really starting to take shape. We can kind of fold it forward a little bit. That's the front step there. And then this part gets folded like this. So we can fold these tabs back a little bit, and the side is going to take shape like this. So we'll just start one at a time. Put a little glue here. And then I'm going to kind of pinch it forward to expose these and put a dot of glue on each one. And then glue each one into place one at a time. Working my way up to the top. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Next, I'm going to put some glue on this tab here and glue that top down. On both sides. And then I can glue my little top panel in place. Finally, you can see that these form what's going to be part of the bottom, and then these sides we can curve out or bend out towards yourself on both sides. And there's our piece number 2. I have some cute little coordinating brads and chipboard pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and put this cute little guy right in the front. Or a button would be cute. Not necessary to have the exact coordinating embellishments. If you do, that's fun. If not, that's okay. So next I'm going to take piece number 1 here with its panel, and if you want to rub some ink on the edges of it, now's the time. If not, that's okay too. But since it's a pumpkin, I think it looks even more dimensional if you kind of add that, maybe a little heavier at the bottom like a shadow. And I'll glue that right onto the front. And as it's drying, if you want to kind of curve it a little bit, get it ready for being a pumpkin, that's perfect. Then next I'm going to take its window and my little vine here, maybe crinkle it up slightly, and I'll put a few dots of glue near the bottom of it and glue that just underneath here, and then put some glue here, or if you have a dimensional dot, that would be cool. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. I really like to use these 3D Zots by Thermalweb. I use them quite a bit. I find them wherever they sell craft supplies and adhesives. So just to add some extra dimension, I'm going to put one inside. It's a really sticky dot, and then fold that up. Creates a little more dimension. It's kind of sticking out a little bit, so I'm going to try to hide it with my flowers. And you can just put them on wherever you think it looks cute. So next what I'm going to do is glue piece number 2 onto piece number 1 here. So to do that, I'm going to put some glue on all of these tabs going up the side. And I just want to line up the bottom nicely. To anchor that into place. And then carefully, one at a time, hold down each tab in place, let it dry a little bit, and then work your way up the whole seam. So you just want to line up the edge with the crease as best you can. And if glue comes out, not the end of the world, but you can always clean it up a little bit before it dries. And the more you do this kind of thing, the better you get at putting the exact perfect amount of glue on and all that. Or if you've done this a million times and you still get glue poking out, that's okay too. So I'm just giving each one a final squeeze, making sure it's good to go. Next, I'm going to do the same thing with segment number 3 over here. So I'll rub a bit of ink on the edges. And glue that into place and kind of curve it a bit also, just a little bit. And then I'll glue it onto the side just like I did before. So anchoring that first one nicely is important so that the bottoms line up nicely. And once again, you can just work your way up the seam one tab at a time. And then I've still got my little window pane too for both of those, and I'll put my little flowers and vines in place. I'm going to set these aside for now, and I'm going to take piece number 8, which is going to go right up next to number 1 there. And I'm going to get this prepped up first. So I'm going to take my window piece here, flip it over, put some glue on the inside, maybe just a dot here, a couple dots, and then my little window pane. Glue that right inside. Then I'll put some glue up here on this little small triangle tab. And bend that over. I'll do the same thing up here. Except this top piece we want on the inside. Like this. Then I can get a little dot right on here. Glue that down. And then I'm going to bend these towards myself. And with some glue on these 2 last small ones, fold the bottom down. Next, what I'm going to do is put some glue on these tabs around the outside. And if you want to do this next part on top of some scrap paper, you can. We're going to set it down and feed that right through. And press down on top around the window. And then I can put my little vines and flowers in my window box. And we'll set this aside for now. And next I'm going to glue piece number 8 onto number 1. So just like before, I'm going to put some glue on each of these tabs, getting pretty close to that fold, but not right on it, so that the glue doesn't all ooze out. And once again, just anchoring that first bottom one really nicely. And just working my way up 1 tab at a time, lining it up nicely as I go. And now I'm actually going to jump up to the top here and anchor that top into place. And then just guide the rest of the tabs into place. And I'm getting a little bit of ink on my project because it's here and the glue is kind of, getting it wet again. But I'm also going to rub my ink pad on this. So that's okay with me if it gets a little bit inky, because I want it to be anyways. Totally optional, you don't have to ink it if you don't want to. It's up to you, just however you want yours to look. So next I'm going to glue my window pane inside. So I'm going to make sure that I've got it lined up. I want it to be like this. And actually, it really doesn't matter which way you glue it on, so that's good. So I will put a line of glue around the very edge of it. And glue that right inside. And I'll do that with the other window pane too. Next, I'm going to take my window frame and I'm going to just hold it up here and make sure I've got the right one, because they are curved a little bit differently. And then I'll put some glue on the bottom and carefully around the very edge. And glue that down. And then I'll do the same thing with the other window pane on the other side. So the reason that I left this off until later is so that we can put it in the same height up off the bottom, but I'm going to still leave that for another moment here while I put together segment number 4, which is the same exact thing as this segment here, 8, just the mirror image. So go ahead and put that together the same way. So I've got my segment here with the window, my flowers, which I'll save for a little bit later. And then same thing, just put glue on all these tabs going up, anchor the bottom, and work your way up one at a time. Then as you start to get closer to the top, you can anchor the top in place. And guide the rest of the tabs in place. And if anything comes apart, especially the top, there's a lot of tension on the top for a minute there, you can just fold it back, add some more glue, and get it into place. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my other 2 little flower boxes in place at the same, basically the same height off the bottom as its neighbor. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's actually kind of cute if it's not perfect. It looks even more homey. Then after your project is done, you can always kind of maybe pull these out a little bit more to make them look even more dimensional. So now for this main part of our pumpkin, we got all the most challenging parts done, so it's all kind of pretty easy peasy from here on out. We're going to just do the same thing with 5, 6, and 7 to form the back side. So just like before, we'll put glue on all the tabs going up the side. We'll anchor the bottom line it up really nicely, work our way up, anchor the top, and guide the rest into place. So this is 4, here's 5. And we're just doing the same thing that we did before. So go ahead and glue 5, 6, and 7 into place, and then we'll close up the seam. So I've got all 8 segments glued together side to side, and now I'm going to close up the whole thing here. No different technique or anything, same as before. Just put glue on all of the tabs. Start at the bottom to anchor it. A little extra time there so it's nice and held in place. Work my way up to the next one. Then I'm going to anchor the top. And just guide the other tabs into place. So if you want to add a little bit of ink, you can, especially at the bottom. Looks cute, makes it look more dimensional. This is a pretty dark brown. It's called sepia black. You could go a little bit lighter. You could add some green. You could even do some streaks a little bit, like a pumpkin. Sometimes pumpkins have those little lines going down. It's up to you how distressed and inky you want to make it look. So with my pumpkin flipped over, I'm going to take this piece here, which is the bottom, and instead of just gluing it right onto the bottom, I'm going to glue it from the inside, which might sound a little bit crazy, but it actually is going to be easier. And we're just going to start by gluing this bottom piece right onto the inside like this. And then I'm going to bend these bottoms out of the way. And you want to have some scrap paper or something handy, because we might get some glue on your work surface here. Because what we're going to do is put a line of glue around the outside of this piece and push it down a little bit. Bend these bottom tabs back into place, and then flip it over, and you can peek down from the inside and line it up pretty nicely. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, but this interior bottom piece just kind of helps everything hold its shape and be in the right place. If you see anything that looks crazy, you can flip it up and glue it, but it doesn't have to be perfect because it'll be hidden. So finally we have this panel here, which is going to go on the inside like this, but on the inside. So this part is a little bit longer than the other sides. That's going to be in the front. So I'll just put a little ring of glue and carefully put that down inside the bottom of my project, right in the center to finish it off. Next we can put the base together, and I've got the pieces laid out here. There are these fence parts here, which have some little panels. They look cute in green to kind of look like grass. Some little fence parts that are going to go right on here. Some little stair panels. Some more vines. These are kind of stuck together. And then the pieces of the base. There's one that looks like this. There's 2 that are identical. And there's 1, 2, 3, as well as this piece here is just a simple box that will go on the inside to add some support. to the inside. It's got some scored parts that can all get folded like this. And then we've got these rectangles, which I'm going to emboss to kind of look like bark that will go around the outside. So these pieces here look a little crazy, but it's really straightforward. And your machine will have cut this number into the side of each piece. And I'm just going to blacken it in with my pen here so it's easier to see. And what we want to do is get these tabs folded over. Wherever there's a score mark. Which is not, I was about to fold it here, it doesn't get folded there. And it's going to form the stairs like this. So we want these two folded like that. And then piece number 2 is a little more straightforward. These all just get folded down. As well as piece number 3. And then we can just glue them together side to side. So to do that, I'll put some glue on side tab of number 1 and glue number 2 onto it. And I'll do the same thing on number 2, glue number 3 onto it. And then I'll close it up with some glue on number 3, wrap it around and glue that there. So the stairs in the front are like this. This is the bottom, this is the top. So next I've got this piece here, which is the bottom, and I went ahead and folded over all of the little scored areas. That's going to be on the bottom, and this is going to form the first little step, which is going to come through the bottom here. So to start gluing it together, I'll put a little glue here and glue that into place there. As well as on the other side. And then I'm going to bend this tab towards myself and put some glue on this little triangle and tuck that inside. On both sides. Next, I've put some glue here on this tab, and I'm going to glue that right inside like this. And then from the inside, I've put some glue on this little triangle here, which goes inside that step. And I'll do that on the other side as well, from the inside, this little triangle just gets folded inside this little step. So it's right here. I'm just squeezing it together here. Then from the inside, I'll put some glue. On this tab, and I want to line it up nicely here and set it down and glue it into place. Then I'll do the same thing on these next two tabs. I could even do it this way, kind of lift it up and then place it and push it from the inside. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side, which could be a little easier this way. And I'll just guide each one from the inside into place one at a time. So basically we want to anchor the longer straight sides first, and then the curved sides kind of fall into place. And then the top is going to be even easier. Next I'm going to glue the back into place. And I just want to line it up along the straight edge of the back. And then we just want to glue these curved pieces into place. So I'm going to get the majority of them by just putting a line of glue around the edge, kind of lifting it up as I glue it down, making sure that it's following the curve there. Once you've got it lined up nicely, you can push those down from the inside, especially out to the crease. And then if you're missing a couple on the inside, if there's not glue on them, you can lift them up and put a dot from the inside. Then you can do the same thing on the other side with a line of glue along the edge. And you don't have to worry if it's not super duper perfect, because there will be a decorative bark panel going around the outside, and they'll hide any little imperfections that you might not be totally happy with. So next I'm going to stand all these up so they're out of the way, because the top is made up of two parts, and one of them is going to go on the inside. But first I will put my little support box together. And this also does not need to be perfect, as long as it sits pretty flat. So I glued those sides together. Now I can put some glue on these tabs. And this part will all be hidden, so you can be kind of hasty with it. Glue those down. Then I'll cover the bottom with some glue. Glue that right inside. And then I've got these two final pieces which are identical, and I'm going to glue this to the box, nice and centered. And you want to make sure that these corners are lined up nicely, and then cover the bottom side of this out to the edge with some glue. And pop that onto the top, lining it up nicely. And there we go. You want to make sure that the edges are lined up pretty nicely. If you want to finish it off even more meticulously, you could always take a little bit of sandpaper and just kind of lightly sand the edges ever so much to create an even smoother edge. And next I'm going to take my fence panels, which are going to go here. If you want to rub some ink on the edge of your grass panel, you can. And this one's green. Yours could, you know, if it was maybe yellow or red, it might look like, kind of echo the feel of some fall leaves laying on the ground. Whatever you feel like. And if you do make this project with a Halloween theme, I think that would be the cutest thing ever, because the roof, which we'll get to shortly, could be black, which would look like a witch hat. I think that would be adorable. I can't wait to see, if anyone does that, I can't wait to see the first one. I can't wait to see all of your projects. Especially with really cute Halloween patterned paper, whether it's whimsical or more spooky. There's so many cute papers out there. I wish I could clone myself so that I could use them all. So next I'm going to fold these all up. And then I'm going to glue my fence into place. And I do want to put a little bit of ink. Actually, I wish I was using a slightly lighter brown, but that's okay. And then even if you took the edge and just kind of dab it a little, it's kind of cute. And then I'm going to put some glue on just these parts. And anchor the two sides. Or go one at a time. It doesn't really matter. You just want to center each one. Like so. We'll do the same thing to the other one and then glue them onto the sides. So now we can glue these onto the bottom, onto the base. And you just want to, it doesn't go exactly quite up to the edge. It just goes very close to the edge so that it's got an even border around it where it gets close to the edge of the base. As long as it's close to that, it's great. And this also kind of creates a little guideline area so that you can place your house right in the center nicely. So next I'm going to take this little skinny panel and glue that onto the bottom here, right in the center. As well as this guy, which gets folded. So this big stair panel gets folded like this. I'm going to rub my dark brown ink pad around it. I like this little, I like the look of this with the paper and everything that I have. I think it's cool to have it really distressed with lots of ink. But like I said, it just depends on the kind of look that you want to give yours. Whether you want it to be inked at all or heavily, lightly, totally up to you. And there we go, super cute. We can put this final stair panel on the first step of our house. Like so. Next I've got my 3 rectangles, which I ran through my embossing machine using my embossing folder Distressed Stripes by Cuttlebug. It's something I use quite a bit, and it looks like bark a little bit, but I don't think it's necessary to use that exact embossing folder. So whatever you want to do. I think no matter what you do, as long as there's some texture, if it's brown, the paper, then there's a good chance it's going to look like bark. Or it'll just look cute. Whatever, it's going to be cool. So no stress if you don't have that exact folder. If you have something similar, awesome. If not, totally fine. So I'm going to glue this. You could either glue it on. We just want the bottom of it to be level with the bottom of your project. You can glue it right on, or you could pop dot it out a little bit so that there's some added dimension and it looks even more barky. Either way, there's a level of play included in it because there's some extra length on it. So if you do pop it out for dimension, you'll still have enough to work your way around the edge. So you can do this however you want. These 3 pieces are going to overlap each other a little bit, and it's just meant to look like a cute little bark edge. So you could overlap them in order 1, 2, 3, or 1 and then, you know, the other side, then the middle. It's really up to you. But you just want to maybe not put your glue all the way up to the top, since it does stick up above the top of the edge a little bit. That's the only stipulation. So I'll just put this final little piece on, like so. What's up, Helper Kitty? It's about time. Next, we can cover the bottom of our cute little house with some glue, getting pretty close to the edges of it. And then you just want to center it more or less right there on your base. As long as it's more or less centered, there's not really a right or wrong way to do it. And then we've got these 3 little pieces left, which you can kind of bend and curve different ways, however you think looks nice. If you want to add some little embellishments, you can. And the way that I have them on my final project is like this. So I've got this one here. I kind of just played around with it and wove it around and just added a couple of little dots of glue. Actually, I did not even glue this on. I just kind of like stuck it in there. You can add a little security if you want. And then this big piece, I did the same thing. I just kind of bent it, twisted it around a little bit, played around, and just glued it here and here, right here, and right here. Then I also added some little gemstones that are cute. Then I did the same thing over here, except it came off a little bit, but it's pretty easy to just twist it around and make it look cute. So next for our roof, that's the final piece of the puzzle here, and I've got some small pieces that are numbered. Your machine will have cut a number into these. This is the chimney, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We can go ahead and bend these scored parts over. Just like this. And this number 2, go like that. Really? Okay. And like this. Oops. So this is how we want the chimney pieces to be folded. And we can go ahead and glue them together. No. No, no, no. Hey, cut it out. Hey. Cut it out. Then I'll put some glue on the side tabs of number 2 and glue number 3 right onto it, 1 tab at a time. Someone's up from their long nap looking for trouble. Looking for something weird to chew on that she should not be chewing on. And then we can close up the whole thing here with some glue on those two final tabs, like so. So then all four of these bottom parts are, you know, like this. Next I've got my roof panels, which I went ahead and ran through my embossing machine using this new folder that I just got called Jumbled Triangles by Sizzix. And it's a lot thicker than a normal average embossing folder. So it's kind of cool. On the original one, I used one called Layered Scallops, and I love it for shingles, but I think no matter what you choose, it's going to look really cute if there's texture, or if you use pattern paper, it would also be cute. So I am going to rub my dark brown ink pad on this dark brown paper just to add that little touch. I like the way that it looks. I'm going to go ahead and do that on all of them. And then I've also got some window frames here. 1, 2, 3, and 2 window panes. 1 and 2. This one doesn't have a window pane. And then these little window roofs that are just a cute little accent. This one gets folded like this. And this one goes like this. So if you wanted to emboss them, you could probably. They're so small, I think they're cute just like that, but that's the fun part of being creative, is you can do yours however you want. So each of these has a number. Your machine will have cut a number into the side of each of these pieces. I'm darkening it in just so you can see it better in this video. So you don't need to do that, but you can if you want to. So just like the bottom part, we're just going to be gluing these together side to side until we've got our roof all done. So I suppose I should put them in order so it's easier for you to follow along and not just grab whatever I happen to have out. This happens to be piece number 7 here. It just gets folded like this. But let's start with number 1. And then we can find piece number 2. We can go ahead and put our glue up on these tabs going up the side. And we want to anchor the first tab nicely, line it up really nice. Maybe give it a few extra moments to dry before you work your way up the seam, just like we did before with the main part of our pumpkin. And just like we do with lots of projects, if you've made some other ones that I have at SVG Cuts. It's a pretty common technique, just going up that seam one tab at a time. So I've got piece number 3, which I'll glue right on. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Then here's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let's go ahead and crease the rest of these. So this is how 4 looks when it's folded. I'm going to glue my little window pane behind the window with a couple dots of glue. And then I'll put the window pane on the front. Now is a good time since it's laying flat. And then I can fold these under. And this tab can get folded the other way, as well as underneath the window here. And then we might as well put this guy in place. It's going to go on just like this. So I might as well go ahead and glue number 4 onto number 3 now, using the same technique of just putting glue on the tabs, anchoring the bottom, and then working your way up to the top. Except this tab here needs to go up a little more so it can go inside the side of this window. Then I'll crease the other folds on piece number 5. Except for this long one here underneath the number 5 gets folded towards you. Then for piece number 6, we can fold its scored parts over. So we want it to look like this. We can flip it over, put a couple dots of glue on the corners and glue our window pane back there. Then flip it over and glue the window frame, the couple dots of glue in the corners. And then some glue up here to create the little window roof. And then this tab right here can get folded more towards you. And we can put our little roof panels in place on the top of it. Like so. And then glue number 6 onto number 5. So now piece number 7 here, same thing, we're just going to glue that right on the side. And then we'll put glue just on these bottom tabs here as well as up here. This one gets this one gets closed right up top. And then piece number 8 gets glued on the side. Then we can close it up with some glue here. Then I can take my chimney and put some glue on these 4 tabs here at the bottom. And push that up from the inside so that it's like this. So next we can take our roof panels. Let's see. The two that go above these two are the same size. And this itty bitty one, this little itty bitty one, goes above the chimney. It's a bit hard to see, but if it wasn't there, when everything's said and done, it would look a little naked. So we want there to be an even border, more or less, around the bottom and the sides, and then there's some extra space above it. So now the front, this is the front of the roof with this triangular piece here, and it might be hard to tell, but this part actually extends out more. So we've got these two short pieces. The rest of them are taller. We've got this long shorter piece that's going to go under the chimney. And then these are a little bit different because this one's longer. That's going to go underneath this one. This other short guy will go underneath the other window. Then this one with the window cut out of it can go on this part here. And then this cute little window frame can go right here. And again, there's no vellum behind it since it's small and I didn't think it was necessary. So if you're wondering, you are not missing anything. So now it's just a matter of which of these four go where. They're shaped slightly differently. These two kind of kick out a little bit more at each corner. And I want you to take them like this. These two don't really kick out so much at the bottom. Put those to the side. These two are going to go on either side of this window like that. So even though I didn't use the scalloped panel or layered scallops embossing folder this time, you know, it looks like shingles. It's so cute. But even though I didn't use it this time, I love the way this looks. It's like whimsical patchwork, totally cute. And I'm going to stand by my previous statement of no matter what embossing folder you choose, I think it's going to be really cute. So here's the front, here's the back. The back is going to be more symmetrical, which is this, and the other side kind of kicks out a little bit, which is here. So we'll take the symmetrical one that's left, put that here. And then this guy in the final spot. So that does it for my pumpkin cottage. So excited about it. I did not put my little vines on just yet, but I love how this one looks also. So there you have it, super cute little pumpkin house, pumpkin fairy house for fall and beyond. I hope you have a great time making it. And if you do, you could definitely put it with your, if you make the original fairy house, they go together really well. They look super cute together. It also looks cute with, you know, this Halloween guy. You could even make this in black and make it a Halloween pumpkin house, which would be so cute, I think. And then you could also make it, if you want to make the spooky tree, that one's a little bit more of a challenge. It's up here, but if you put it together step by step with me in it's a separate video, separate project, but they would look cute together. Also, if you make any of these, if you make this, if you make anything to go with it, you'll definitely have to share a picture with us on Facebook, Instagram, your blog, Pinterest, however you like to share. I always love to see, and so do the rest of our crafty friends. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting.